Hi everybody, welcome to Supercross Live on supercrossonline.com. Practice report, Kevin Barnett, Jim Holley, as always, here in Louisiana at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. And Jim, we talked about it earlier, the injury to Kevin Windham. He wasn't expected to be here, but he did show up and try to ride.
Well, we thought in the pre-show when we talked about it, he wasn't even going to try to ride, but you know, he went out, Dr. Steve Navarro taped him up and he went out and tried a lap, but unfortunately it's just too painful for Kevin Windham. But I'm sure that he's going to be out there in opening ceremonies. He's not going to be jumping like he normally does, but at least he'll greet the crowd here in Louisiana.
Yeah, they'll play the video and cheer him on, the hometown boys. So we have 450B practice going on behind us still. We'll start you off with the Supercross Lights East Regional Class. The story was Ken Roczen seems like he's finally in a good place with that week off coming into this race.
Well, and you got to remember that, you know, he started out the season, you know, with a busted wrist, healing up from that, and, you know, got a slow start, and then he got sick in Toronto. That lingered on, but like you said, Kevin, with that weekend off, I think that Ken Roczen, he wants to try to go head-to-head against Barsha, but I'm not so sure Barsha's going to go head-to-head with him, though.
Yeah, is that a good idea if you're Barsha and all you need to do is get out of here unscathed with more than 25 points? Do you battle it out with Ken Roczen? Can you suppress that urge? Because we know Barsha wants to fight, loves to race. These young guys are full of fire. Can you suppress that urge for this race in a championship chase?
Well, I think if I'm Mike LaRocca over at the Honda Geico team, I'm going to talk to him before the start of the race, say, look, you don't have to win this thing. We're here to do one thing tonight, and that's win a championship, and I got to go back to San Diego. His teammate on the West Coast, Eli Tomac, throwing it away. Don't do that. Second's okay, third's okay, even fourth's okay, even a fifth. Yep. We just want to wrap this championship up here.
You mentioned Mike LaRocca, Kevin Windham also in that rig, more than 450 starts, I think, between those two guys, almost consecutive starts, closing on 450, so no more experienced rig than that over at the Geico Honda. We're going to run down that list for you. Bogle and Barsha, Cunningham and Stewart in the top 5 along with Roczen in the first round. Then they dropped about a second off in the second round. The track's still holding up and running up nicely. Roczen, Barsha, Wharton, Bogle, and Baggett. I want to ask you about the track before we move on. The track looks really rough. I talked to Izzy. He said it's hard packed. It's not degrading much, but the ruts are tough. And the riders have both mentioned how hard and rough it is going to be tonight.
Well, it is, and as the night goes on, the track starts to break down. It's going to get even harder. But the thing I like about this track here in the Louisiana and the Superdome is the fact that they got some timing sections out there. We had looked at it earlier, and you know, some of the guys are tripling some section, other guys are going double-double. So I think that's going to play a big factor as the race wears on.
I also heard guys say it was an easy track. What's easy about this track compared to other ones we've seen this season?
Well, I think maybe the sand and the whoops. The whoops tonight seem like they're not breaking down. They're pretty consistent. Guys are getting across them pretty fast now, and I think those will hold up.
Okay, moving on to the Supercross class. In the first practice session, it was Nico Izzy up front on that Star Valley Yamaha, number 50, just having a great ride of it.
Well, I guess that top 10 a couple weeks ago, you know, builds confidence, and like you said, Nico Izzy out there with the fast time. Unfortunately, the second go around, he was 4th fastest. So, but consistent for Nico Izzy. I mean, he could possibly have a top 5 here tonight.
Yeah, he's been near the front a few times in heat races and also nearly hole-shotting some mains. I told him when I talked to him after the first practice, I said, I forget that you're even a 250 rider at this point. He said, yeah, I feel good. The corners feel nice. I like the bike. I'm going to ride the bike outdoors. He'll be on a 450, so he's excited about that.
Well, the thing I like about it is that, you know, you got to remember that next weekend we're going to be in Seattle, and he's going to be back on that lights bike on the West. So he's still racing himself, unlike some of the guys that have had a long break on that West Coast. Nico Izzy's probably setting himself up pretty good for next weekend in Seattle.
Okay, so the first session, Izzy, Villapoto, Millsaps, Weimer, Brayton, and then in 6th place, Andrew Short, so he could be a factor tonight. Second practice came out, you mentioned it, Izzy down to 4th, Villapoto up front again. He doesn't seem to have lost anything having won the championship 2 weeks ago.
No, I think he just wants to come out and still keep winning races. That's about it, you know. I mean, he looks good out there, but you'd mentioned Andrew Short coming back, Ivan Tedesco also back, so we'll see how those guys fare tonight. I mean, you know, the key is not to get hurt and get a race underneath your belt.
All right, guys looking good in that second practice. Villapoto, Weimer, Millsaps, Izzy, and Brayton, more or less the same group of guys filling out that top 5.
Yeah, it is, and you know, those guys there, you know, they just got to get a good start. That's the key. You get a good start in that main event. But you know, something else I thought interesting, a bunch of guys emailed me later on this week. They really enjoy us running down the lap times, and I'm talking about a lot of the guys over in Afghanistan and Iraq over there. Kurt Binke over there helping us out over there in the Army, and you know, he says a lot of the troops really appreciate that. They really get an insight.
Oh, good that we can provide them a little bit of entertainment during their job. Hey, you out there who want to join in the conversation, facebook.com/supercrosslive, twitter.com YouTube.com/Supercross Live. These races will be aired on CBS tomorrow and Speed tomorrow if it's on the lights class. There's a couple of big things going on. Monster Energy Cup coming up in October. Tickets still available for that, and also Cross Club. You can go on supercrossonline.com, become a Cross Club member for free, and you will get first shot at 2013 tickets, which will be out soon. The 2013 schedule to be announced soon, and there are some big changes there, some things that may be a little bit different is what we're hearing. So stay tuned for that. We'll have a post-race report here tonight. Come on, supercrossonline.com for all your information. Kevin and Jim here from Louisiana.